Here I have a Howa 1500 16-inch barrel, suppressed 308 bolt action rifle. Let's go ahead and clear it. Clear. Today I'm going to be showing you how to adjust this trigger. Actually, there's a little adjustment screw. I'm actually going to be showing you how to modify this trigger for a lighter trigger pull. The factory trigger is not bad, but it's not great either. It's a 2-stage trigger, so you've got about 1 pound of first stage, and then I would say probably close to 3 pounds on the factory trigger, which, like I said, is not bad. But let me break this down and I'm going to show you the next step. First step is you're going to be taking out the action screws. There's one on the front and one on the rear. All right, now that we have the front action screw out and the rear action screw out, you put it in your handy dandy Christmas tree. That way you don't lose your screws. Then you will separate the action and chassis. We no longer need this beautiful chassis at this time. We will set it to the side. All right, now that we got our barreled action here, this is your trigger. This is the Howa H.A.C.T or H.A.C.T trigger. This single Allen screw here will be the only screw that you need to remove the trigger housing. All right, now that we have removed the trigger assembly with this one screw from the action, we no longer need our barreled action. Also, video disclaimer, anytime that you modify a firearm out of factory specs, you need to be careful. This is a dangerous game. If you do not know what you're doing, take it to a licensed gunsmith. Otherwise, do modifications at your own risk. We will test, and I'll show you at the end of the video, we will test the safety function to make sure that this rifle is safe before it goes into operation again. With that being said, just anytime you're doing a firearm modification, just make sure that you are safe at all times. Okay, first, on this side here, these are E-clips on pins. We're going to carefully remove these E-clips. Remove the bottom one first, then this top one here, and then push your pins through one at a time. Also, you need to be careful that these E-clips do not go flying, because they will, and they are hard to find. There's one. We will put it over here in our Christmas tree. And there's two. And that one went flying. All right, and fortunately, I was able to find that E-clip that took off like a rocket. We'll put it in our Christmas tree as well. And that is it. And from this point, you will push out the bottom pin first and then the second one. Let's get our camera set back up here. Okay, very carefully, we will remove the bottom one. Push it through. And there is an E-clip on this side, so be careful of that. Okay. Your trigger shoe will pull out and there will be a spring. Do not lose the spring. Now we will push out our second pin, which holds our actuator, which is this piece. Okay. There's our second pin, also with an E-clip. Do not lose it. Once you remove your actuator, you'll set it to the side. Also, it goes in a certain way, and I will show you that shortly. This is the spring, if you can see that we're wanting to get out of there. So there's your trigger shoe spring here. There is this spring here for your safety. And there's another small spring in here. Just like that. Dump it out of there. And this is the spring in which we will modify. So, rule of thumb, you can start with one coil. I will be going probably 1 1/3 coil. I will be using a pair of side dikes and carefully snipping off 1 1/3 coil, and we will reassemble. Okay, very carefully. We'll use these to hold it and these to cut it. All right, let's see. That will be one coil here. Okay. Wow, that's some very hard steel. All right, so it's kind of hard to get on video. I did end up cutting a coil and 1/3 off. The way you're going to install it, you're going to want the cut side going down into there. This is the coil I cut off. It was 1 1/3. This is your actuator. You can see that. See how it has this C clamp on this side, this little C? You're going to install it this way, not this way, straight in, okay? But before you do that, you're going to want to install your cut end back down into that hole. See, there's a little hole in there. You're going to want that spring to go back in that hole in there, very carefully. Okay. All right. Make sure it's straight. It's kind of difficult, guys. This is real tedious work. So from there, this is kind of the aggravating part. You're going to want your C-clamp to go like this, okay? And from here, you're going to want to press down and line this up here. Stick your screwdriver through. Okay, and that's going to hold it. It's kind of aggravating. All right, so now that you have your screwdriver through the actuator pinhole, this is where you will get, there are 2 pins. Your actuator pin is larger. So you will come from the safety side, and this can be kind of difficult to do, but we'll see if we can get it. Your longer pin's going to want to go through there. Okay, and just like that, it's through. Then you will want to get your trigger shoe. This spring is not being cut, so it doesn't matter which way it goes in. Okay, from here. You will reinstall as so. And I like to use the, you could use a punch, you could use a screwdriver, just whatever, you know, to push it through. You're going to want to get your trigger shoe pin with the E-clamp on the same side as well. We're going to just repeat the process as the actuator pin. It may require a little bit of moving to get it to line up. Okay, and there we are. All right, in this part, I will cut the video and resume once I put these E-clamps on, because it's kind of difficult to do. You want to do it very carefully or you will lose them. You will put them on the same way you took them off. All right, guys, so now that we've got our E-clamps clamped back on the pins, we got our trigger pin here, actuator pin here. Now we are done. We will reinstall this to the barreled action, and then we will test function and safety. So to do this, just pull your bolt back. You're going to reinstall it the same way that you removed it. Single screw here. You could opt to put a little bit of blue Loctite on there if you want. I don't see it being completely necessary, but you could if it'll make you sleep better at night. I'm sure there's a torque spec, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to put it finger tight and then just snug it in there, and that should be good. All right, so let's function test it. Bolt opens. Let me fix this camera here. All right. Bolt opens and operates smooth. Safety, it does not. Fire, it does. All right, let's test the safety. So it's cocked. There's no ammo in it. Test the safety. Okay, no fire, which is good. Bump it up to the bolt release, which is still safety. Okay, there's no fire. Now we will bump it to fire. So you got it's a 2-stage trigger. So once again, you got about 1 pound of first stage, and then second stage. Substantially better, just a lot more crisp. I'm gonna say that's gonna be right around 1.5 pounds. So we were able to cut down from 3.5, and potentially even 4 pounds down to, I'm gonna say roughly 1 pound, maybe even 1.5 pounds. It's hard to tell. I don't have a trigger pull weight, but that's it, guys. Now we're going to reinstall it back into our chassis the same way that we removed it, and I don't need to show you guys all that. My job's done here. We're going to throw it back into this beautiful outlier modular chassis system, and off to the races. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. Do these mods at your own risk. I would start by 1 to 1/3 coil cut. I would not go any more than that, as you run the risk of fail safe. So thank you guys for watching. Hardwood Productions. Peace.